So let's get right into it, yeah? The way the searcher works, the mindset behind it, not so much even the lore, not so much even the AI, but the searcher itself, its character. What makes it different from the other creatures, and why is so dynamic, and why is such a fun one to mess around with? So this thing, originally, it was inspired from this creature from this movie I watched when I was a little kid. And I liked it. I liked the whole concept of it. I felt it was very underutilized, and they could do a lot more with this. And it stayed in my memory subconsciously. And then when I was thinking of ideas, this thing came to light, and I'm like, I can use that. I remember this thing when I was a little kid. So this creature is the most human out of all the other creatures on this list. It's like an advanced human species. It is most similar to humans, but it is not human, of course. It doesn't even come from the same ancestors, nothing. The entire MRSA is different. Its ancestry is completely different. It has no relation to human beings, human species whatsoever. But the way this creature works, it's a very sadistic, very power-driven type of creature. But I can't even say power-driven. Humans are more power-driven than this. This thing is just purely sadistic. And it's more than just that. It likes to see the outcome of certain events. It likes to toy with its prey. It likes to mess around a bit. And the virus, as deadly as it is, this is the only creature to which the virus hasn't taken completely over its host. The creature's brain is still here, hence why it plays and toys around with its victims. And one of the searchers, I believe I have 4 or 5 in the game, one of the searchers runs its own lab, an underground lab that was abandoned a long time ago, and it will kidnap people, drag them to this lab, and run experiments on them. But even more than that, it will just torture them for its own fun. Like, it will throw this burning chemical on a human being's body just to see how they react. Force them to live in it for a certain amount of days. It will be burning at their skin, and the toxins, it will be burning their nostrils, their lungs, but not enough to kill it, not enough to kill a human being. It's doing this to see the effects on the human brain and how people will react. Knowing full well that they can't escape their captivity, it does this for its own sadistic pleasure, and watching them struggle and burn right in front of its own eyes, it gets off on it. It's really, really brutal. It's really messed up, and it's really sadistic. And the whole point of this is to show you the cruel nature of these things, similar to that of how some humans can be cruel and sadistic in a similar nature. These things think logically. They're very calculated, but they're lazy. With that armor that they wear, they know that they cannot be harmed in any way. They know they cannot be hurt. So they don't care if they shoot you and they miss. It doesn't matter to them because you cannot hurt them. You are little to nothing to them. You are like a bug, but even humans want to kill. If you have, imagine you have a spider in your house, right? Usually people will want to either take the spider and throw him outside, or they will want to kill him. This thing wants to take the spider, throw it into like a bottle or something, like a cup, and then torture it and watch it struggle and see what happens. It's very, very malignant, is what I would say. And it's very different from any other creature, because every other creature feels like, creature, hunter, prey. This thing is like a mad scientist almost. I won't even compare it to that. It's just a very sadistic thinking. And I think it gives a little bit of personification to it. There's one of these things that are not sadistic, but the rest are. So I think I have 5 searchers in the game, and 2 of which are very bad, and 1 isn't sadistic. It just makes it quick, ends things quick. It will kidnap you and turn you into one of the blue goo creatures, and then that's it. But it will not go any further than that to torture you. whereas two of the other ones, and each searcher has their own names. Two of the other ones are very, very sadistic, and then the rest are just normally sadistic. But I think it adds a new field of interest, hopefully to the viewer and my audience and the gamer themselves, wondering like why these things are the way that they are, and there's some lore behind it, and they'll be able to find it throughout the game, and using the translator thing. Eventually, I'm going to have a gun or device, some sort of equipment that will translate language into English, and it will help them figure out who these things are and what they are. And it will even help identify some of them with their names. Yeah, so that's that.